Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, offers a free consultation to evaluate your legal case. If they take your case, they only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337. You are listening to the Ask the Expert Show with host Steve-O. We will be right back with more experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Join us every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Now, get ready for more Ask the Experts.
Hey, and we're back, and like I told you, we have Shane Farnsworth with us. He has a personal injury. He's an injury attorney, and we're just going to kind of do a free-for-all today. We're going to talk about different areas of personal injury. And, Shane, I get emails, people who came in at the last minute when they were driving, got in their car maybe 20 minutes after we started. Tell everybody about your practice, because I have so many people, they're saying, what was that show about? What was his name?
Yeah, by practice, it's Shane M. Farnsworth.
He's got a great voice.
And we're located in downtown Delray Beach at 70 Southeast 4th Avenue. So if you're familiar with Atlantic Avenue, I'm about a little less than a block south of Atlantic on Southeast 4th Avenue.
So you're easy to find.
Easy to find, yeah. If you can get to Atlantic Avenue off of 95 or Federal, then you can get there.
Wow. So now tell me, do you practice in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade?
We have cases throughout the state. Primarily, the majority of our clients come from Palm Beach. We get stuff from Broward, Dade. I think we talked before. I have clients in the Orlando area, kind of Central Florida. We've done cases in Jacksonville. So we do stuff all over the state, but primarily our practice, most of our clients come from sort of the southern end of Palm Beach County.
Now, I'm going to say something, and Shane's probably going to hate me for this, but I see so many commercials on TV for personal injury attorneys. And I've got to tell you, because in some of my markets that we do Ask the Experts, and people have called, what I love about your firm, you personally handle the cases yourself. Because I got to tell you, some of these big firms, you think, oh, bigger is better. That's not the case. Everyone I know in these other cities, they said, we never even met the attorney. We are with a support person.
Well, a lot of times...
And they felt like they were in a factory.
Yeah, a lot of times the bigger firms, there are firms, obviously, that advertise that do a great job, too. But a lot of the bigger firms, generally speaking, you're not going to probably spend a lot of time with your attorney, and until your case is in litigation, you're almost certainly going to be speaking primarily with a paralegal or a secretary. At our firm, I have a small firm. It's myself, my assistant, one other staff member. So, I'm hands-on.
Attention.
Yeah,
yes.
You're going to talk to me. For example, I had a client today that we were representing her. Unfortunately, in her situation, she got hit by somebody who didn't have bodily injury coverage, and she didn't have uninsured motorists. I know we've talked about the coverages before. And so there wasn't anything we could really do for her. But we talked to her today, and we called her up to let her know what was going on. And she said, Shane, the thing I really like about you is that I get to talk to you when I call your office, and you put things in terms that I understand. And those are her words directly from this morning.
And people see that with the show. I mean, you don't talk over people's head.
No, I want people to understand their situation. And so, I took the time to explain to her, although my assistant had already told her about the situation with insurance. I said, look, here's why there's no coverage. Here's how you could do something different the next time you renew your insurance to make sure that you are covered, because unfortunately, as we've talked about previously, there's a lot of people in Florida that either don't have insurance or they have the legal minimum of PIP and property damage, so they don't have bodily injury coverage. So it's important to understand the insurance coverages and know what you're doing. So, we went through that and explained it to her. So I'm hoping next time around she renews that she'll take the advice and buy the UM coverage. So if she's involved in an accident in the future, and the person doesn't have bodily injury coverage, we'd be able to help her.
Tell people it's not just auto accidents that you do.
No, we do.
So tell people about some of the type of injury that you do take care of.
Yeah, we handle all different sorts of insurance claims. We handle, obviously, auto accidents, truck accidents. If you get injured as a pedestrian, if you have a slip and fall, we handle all those sorts of cases. We also handle, for example, if you have property and it was damaged in the hurricane and your insurance company is not paying for it, we handle those types of claims as well. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we handle generally, any insurance dispute that you have, that's within the realm of what we do.
Dog bites?
Dog bites, yes.
Hear about that all the time.
Yep, we don't do medical malpractice. I know you always ask me that one. Yeah, but outside of that, and products liability, we generally don't get involved in. But any sort of accident, yes, and like I said, any dispute.
Nursing home? Do you get involved in that?
Yes.
Like if there's a nursing home abuse?
If there is neglect, if a nursing home was negligent in caring for somebody, yes.
Okay. So how long have you been in practice for?
I've been in practice since 1998, so it'll be 21 years in October.
Wow.
Or September.
All down in Delray?
I've been in Delray that entire time, the same building.
So let's start off. Let's start off with accidents because you do handle a lot of auto accidents. And I'm going to tell you something. I go from Coral Springs every morning to the Miami airport. And I can't tell you on 75 how many accidents I see every day going back and forth. In fact, I saw a real bad one today with the truck. But when you're in an accident, what's the first thing you should do?
Well, when you're at the accident scene, one of the most important things is make sure that you call the police. A lot of times people, especially if the damage to the car isn't, really bad, they'll say, well, let's just exchange information and go our separate ways. And you don't want to do that because later on, if you didn't cause the accident, but you don't have a police report, there's a chance the other party could say, hey, I didn't cause this, you did, and you end up getting sued for something you didn't cause. So first thing you would do is you want to make sure you call the police, have them come, get a police report. The next thing, if you're injured...
Do they determine who's at fault when they come out?
When they do their investigation, when they write the report, generally speaking, if they're finding someone to be at fault, they'll list them as the first party in the accident form. But, or they may give a ticket, but they don't always necessarily find who's at fault. Sometimes there's conflicting stories, and
so
say
always
we can't
call
really
the
determine.
police.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the first step. The second step is, if you're injured, get to a doctor. If you're really injured, obviously from the accident scene, you go by ambulance and you get checked out at the hospital. If you don't feel at that moment you need to get checked out, but later on you start to feel not right, you can go to the emergency room. You can go to an urgent care somewhere to get checked out, because it's important that you get your injuries documented as soon as possible, because later on down the line, you're going to want to be able to show that those injuries are related to the accident. And the longer you wait, it allows insurance companies to then say, well, you had this accident and you waited 25 days to go to the doctor, so how do we know you didn't fall in between or have something else happen?
Is there amount of time?
There is, yes. That we've talked before about the PIP statute. In Florida, everybody's required to have personal injury protection coverage. We're a no-fault state, so regardless of who causes the accident, the first $10,000 of your medical bills gets paid through your PIP coverage. Now, one caveat to that is you have to see a doctor within 14 days of the accident. If you don't, you won't be entitled to your PIP coverage.
So it's important, even if you don't really think you're hurt that bad, you should go see somebody.
Yeah, it's better to get checked out and find out you're okay than to not get checked out and find out later that you have an issue. And at that point, you don't have coverage for it, or you help create a defense for the insurance company to say, well, you waited so long, we don't really believe you were injured in this accident.
Makes sense. When should I call you?
My advice is to contact me as soon as possible. What happens is, once we're retained, that takes you out of the middle in dealing with the insurance company. So
tell people about how you charge, though, too, because if you've never been in an accident, you would not know.
Right. We use a contingency fee agreement. It's governed by the Florida Bar. So regardless of who you hire. The percentages are the maximum percentages are governed by them. If we don't recover any money for you, it doesn't cost you anything. If we recover any money for you, it's 33 1/3% prior to filing suit. In the event we have to litigate the case, the fees go up to 40% after filing the lawsuit.
It's all based on what you get.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
it's based on the recovery. The other part of it is, as we're going along, any costs that come up, we advance those costs. Now, when the case is over, we get reimbursed the costs. But, for example, if you go to the hospital, we have to get their records. They're going to charge us to get those records. We pay for the records.
Right.
It doesn't come out of your pocket. At the end of the case, when we make the recovery, we get our money back for those advanced
And
costs.
it should be that way.
Yeah, so you're not coming out of pocket any money to hire me or to pay for the costs as the case is going along.
And this is not just auto accidents. This is slip and falls. This is any kind of injury.
Yeah, this is any sort of personal injury action. Now, we've talked about it before. Part of my practice is also general civil litigation. Now, a lot of times that's either an hourly fee or a flat fee.
Right.
But in the personal injury realm, yes, it's always a contingency fee agreement.
But now, if you do have to go to court and litigate it, that's when the percentages go up.
Yeah, it goes up to 40% from 33 1/3. And the reason for that is once you file suit, it increases the amount of work you have to do, obviously, in the litigation process. So that's why it changes. So once you've filed suit and the other party files an answer to that lawsuit, the percentage goes from 33 1/3% to 40%.
I got it, and you've heard me tell the story. My son in Dallas thought he would save the percentage. Because he's a salesman, so he said, I can litigate this. He said it was the biggest mistake he ever did. He thought he could go in there. Well, first of all, he's up against people who do this for a living. And he said, I was trying to save money, but it actually ended up costing me money. So don't sit there trying to save money and say, I'm going to take care of this myself, because I'm telling you, I know for a fact you're probably going to leave a lot of money on the table.
Well, oftentimes, as you said, that the adjusters do this for a living, so they know the value of your case. You don't if you're a layperson. So often what they'll do is shortly after your accident, they may contact you and say, hey, we'd like to resolve this, and they'll offer you a small amount of money. And sometimes people say, well, hey, that's money I didn't have before. It's filed money. I'll go ahead and take it. They sign a release. Then they find out later on that their injuries are more severe than they thought. They have to go to the doctor. They're incurring bills, but now they've already signed a release, so they can't get any more money.
They can't go back in.
Correct. So, if you hire an attorney, we have experience in dealing with the adjusters, and we have an idea of the value of your case, and we're going to make sure that you get the medical treatment that you need so you can be fully evaluated before we even get to the point where we start discussing, how much the case is worth.
Do you have a gut feeling when you get a case whether it's going to have to go to court or not?
Not
You've done so many.
There are some. I mean, there's some that you do, but not necessarily. I mean, it depends sometimes on the insurance companies. It depends on the adjuster that you're dealing with. Sometimes they're, easy people to deal with. Sometimes they're difficult people, just like anything in life.
Exactly.
So, we're going to try to fight to get as much money as we can for our client, but if we don't feel that the adjusters and the insurance companies are being fair, then we're going to file suit to get the full value of our client's claim.
It takes some time when you have to go to court.
Yeah. Obviously, when you file a lawsuit, you're going to have draft the complaint. They're going to file an answer. They're going to send discovery requests, so you have to sit down with the client, prepare all the discovery responses, any motions that are involved. Eventually, you're going to have to go to mediation. There's steps involved that the insurance company is going to send your client to a doctor that they choose to evaluate them. And then, if you aren't able to resolve it prior to trial, then you obviously have the trial.
We're going to go to break. We're here with attorney Shane Farnsworth. Give everybody your phone number.
Our phone number is 561-272-8337.
And your website.
And the website is ShaneMFarnsworth.com.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got more with Shane Farnsworth.
As an experienced personal injury attorney, Shane Farnsworth understands the key to success in your case. You are entitled to compensation for your injuries, medical bills, lost wages, and personal loss. Mr. Farnsworth will go to trial if you are not offered the fair settlement that you deserve. The law offices of Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, has established itself as one of the leading personal injury law firms in the South Florida area. They give all their personal injury clients a promise. If they don't recover monetary damages in your case, you will not pay any attorney's fees. Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, offers a free consultation to evaluate your legal case. If they take your case, they only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337.
And we are back. We're here talking to Shane Farnsworth. He's an attorney. He's in Delray Beach. I don't know how you stay so fit because there's so many restaurants on Atlantic Avenue. I mean, it's like a restaurateur's dream to be over there, but that's where your office is, right there on Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, about a block south of Atlantic on Southeast 4th Avenue. So if you know where they're building the new IPIC Theater, I'm directly across from that.
That's going to be crazy. I hope they have enough parking down there for that.
Well, they haven't opened yet. We'll see. They have a parking garage that they built in the building, so hopefully, well, we'll see.
Well, we're talking about injuries here, and you know, we've been talking about auto accident injuries, but slips and falls. There's a lot of people that fall in, I guess stores is where most people fall. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say primarily they fall in stores or restaurants. Sometimes they happen outside as well. People trip on sidewalks and different things that are in disrepair.
Now, again, this is even if you fall, maybe you don't think you're not hurt anywhere. But you never know what could happen in a couple days because you see this all the time.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. A lot of times, you know, like with an auto accident, your adrenaline is going, or with a slip and fall, especially if you're in a restaurant or a store and you fall down, you're probably embarrassed and you're trying to get up and
that makes
get
sense.
away from the spot as quickly as possible. And a lot of times when it happens, you don't necessarily feel all that injured. You might feel, hey, I'm a little bumped and bruised, but a lot of times, the next day or the day after that, that's really when you start to feel, the bumps and bruises, and you understand that you're hurt. So the fact that you don't feel it right away doesn't mean you're necessarily going to walk away injury free, because a lot of times it will develop over the next couple of days.
Are you able to recommend, like if I was in an automobile accident, I have never gone to a chiropractor before. I wouldn't even know where to go first. Do you recommend doctors or chiropractors if someone's been injured?
Well, generally speaking, a lot of times when people get to us, they've already been to a doctor.
Okay.
A lot of times they get referred by their doctors. But if someone comes to us and they aren't seeing a doctor and they specifically wanted to treat with a chiropractor, I know several. Obviously we network. So what I would do is the area that you live in, I could say, okay, well, here's 4 or 5 chiropractors in your area. Pick one.
I would not have any idea. Can you talk? I'm not giving any names or people. Someone asked me last week that asked you, tell us about some of your cases and how they turned out.
Well, I mean, like I said, we do a lot of auto accident cases.
Is that primary what your practice is?
Yeah, I would say most of our personal injury is auto accidents. So, we've had good success with them. Over the years, we've had some nice settlements. We've done a good job for our clients. One of the things you can do at our website, ShaneMFarnsworth.com, you can go on there and there's the reviews, or you can Google us and look at it and get an idea of the experience that people have had with us regarding their cases. But yeah, I mean, we've had some good cases with pedestrians or people that were on bicycles that have been injured and done very well for them.
That's right, with all the people who ride bicycles down here.
Yeah, we actually did a show earlier this year, or maybe last year, I guess now, on bicycles and sort of dealing with them. And yeah, there are a lot of people. I mean, obviously, South Florida is pretty crowded traffic-wise, and sharing the roads with bicycles isn't necessarily always the easiest thing in the world.
Right.
So,
got some of these bike lanes I see. In fact, I'm talking in Boca and down by the ocean. They are so narrow. I'm surprised there's not more people who are hit by cars or trucks that are riding bicycles. And somebody also asked me about motorcycles. Do you get a lot of motorcycle accidents?
we do on occasion. They're not as common as the auto accidents. I mean, a lot of times with the motorcycle accidents, if those are usually pretty bad injuries, because obviously when you have a car or truck that hits somebody on a motorcycle is not protected, a lot of times, unfortunately, those can be wrongful death cases, which we also handle. So, but primarily, we have car accidents, we have trucks that hit cars, so.
What about if someone has retained? People love hearing you on the show. What if someone has retained an attorney and they hear you, and are they stuck with that attorney?
You're not stuck with the attorney. It's your case. So if you decide, I'm not happy with the service that I'm getting and I would like to change attorneys, you can do that at any time. Now,
because people hear you on here, it's like a lot of times you've never even met the attorney. All of a sudden, this is the attorney, but with you, people actually hear you. And let me tell you something. People can feel, they want to be able to communicate with their attorney.
Right.
And that's why I love the fact that you're right there. You don't pawn them off to somebody, a support person. You handle everybody yourself.
Yeah, I do have my assistant, Jane, does a great job. And
no, we're not taking anything away from her.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? People get to see you, get to talk to you.
Yeah, when you come in, I'm going to sit down with you and go over the process that you can expect to go through in a personal injury action, explain it to you, and be there to answer questions. Once you've retained us and you're not in our office, you call us anytime. Jane is very good at what she does, and she can answer most questions, but anytime somebody has a question that they feel they need to speak to me about, I'm there. If you call us, within reason, if you call us before 3 o'clock, we're going to call you back that day. If you call us after 3 o'clock, we're probably going to call you back that day, but sometimes we get busy or we have to leave the office early, and it may be the following day, but you're going to hear from us. We're going to call you back. You're not going to be left waiting for a call or wondering what the answer to your question is, because we're there to answer it for you, and we're going to do that.
And it's very important that if something happens to you in Dade, something happens to you up in Jupiter, they can call you.
Yeah, and regardless of,
They actually don't even have to come in, do they?
Not necessarily. I mean, we have, in most cases, we do meet our clients, but I did have a client that we recently settled their case who was from Tennessee, and they were injured while they were visiting down here in South Florida in Delray, and their attorney in Tennessee found me, and he's the one who sent them to me, and so I never actually had them physically come to my office, and I've never been in the same room as them, but we were able to successfully get their case resolved, and I certainly made sure that any questions they had, I was there for them along the way. So especially being that they were out of state and we'd never actually met, I wanted to make sure they were comfortable and knew what was going on.
Well, this is a 50,000 watt station, 1470, and it goes especially up north. So if you're in a Jupiter, you're up further north, they can still call you.
Absolutely, you can still call me.
You don't have to have someone in the neighborhoods, what I'm saying.
No, and in fact, if you're in Jupiter and you don't have the ability to get to us in Delray, we'll make arrangements to get to you. I mean, whether you're in Jupiter or West Palm or Fort Lauderdale, wherever you may be. Obviously, if you're in Orlando or Jacksonville, it's a little tougher. But if you're, within the Tri-County area and you call us and you don't have the ability to get to us, we'll make arrangements.
Well, we've got about 2 minutes. I ask you this every time because we're always getting new people joining the show. Why should I hire you?
Well, because you're going to get the experience. Like I told you about the person earlier today. Like I said, even though we're ultimately not going to be able to help her recover for her injuries because of the insurance situation.
But you're up front with her, though.
We were there. We got her through the process, and we're there to answer the questions. And like I said, she said, "Shane, I love your office. Jane is great, and whenever I need to talk to you, I get to talk to you, and you use language that everybody can understand, and it makes me very comfortable." So it makes me very happy to hear that. It makes
you
me
never
feel
know.
good.
She knows somebody and you know that they're going to recommend you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. One of the primary ways we get our clients is referrals from former clients. So we want to make sure everybody's happy.
Give everybody your phone number.
Phone number is 561-272-8337.
And your website. You got a great website.
Yeah, the website is shanemfarnsworth.com. And if you go there, all our previous shows on Ask the Experts are actually there. So if you want to go back and watch those, you can. We also have other frequently asked question videos on there that you could check out as well.
Wow, you do it right. Shane Farnsworth, he'll be back with us again next month. And we'll be back with you next week with more Ask the Experts. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Ask the Expert Show, featuring interviews with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Call our